Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo, prepare to engage. Operation Status Quo, ready to engage. Operation Status Quo, engaged. Engaged. Are we engaged? Are you engaged? Are you engaged with me? Am I engaged with you? Not that way. Let's not get too personal. But you know what I'm saying. Are we engaged together in this endeavor here on Operation Status Quo? That's what I really want to know. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. So once, twice, 3 times a bad connection. So this is my 3rd attempt here to see if we can get through an episode. You know, it might be the gods of social media telling me nobody wants to hear a damn thing of what you got to say. Won't you shut your mouth? Shut it. Nobody knows the troubles I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Heyo. Heyo. All right, so let's see. I got green. It's going to red and green, and let's just see if it works. We'll give it a try a little bit. Today is, well, first of all, today is and everything else because I had to restart my computer and restart everything, and nothing's working right, so it kind of throws you off the track. But you see, that is the power of the evil universe trying to keep us from being together and showing love to one another. Because we have to have love. There must be love. Beautiful, peaceful, happy love. That's what we do here on Operation Status Quo. Operation Status Quo is where we observe the status quo, and of course, we learn to flow with the quo as well, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what we're doing here, and I'm not going to pay attention. I'm going to just, as long as I see green over here, I'm not going to care that YouTube is spinning and telling me that there's no data, and this stream will end shortly. You know, with the hard part about it is, like, you know, if I see that it looks like nothing's going through and it's not working, then, you know, it makes it hard for me to get into a groove of actually just like speaking and making the points I want to make, because obviously I'm distracted and then I'm trying to say stuff, and if I'm saying stuff and nothing's coming out on the other end, then I'm just kind of speaking to the wind, which is like pretty much what I do most of the time anyway. So, but seriously, today is the 3rd of April in the good year 2023. Hello, hope you're doing well out there on a happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pete Palma. This is Operation Status Quo, and we're here today with another great episode. Today's episode entitled Groovy Movies. That's right, Groovy Movies, because we want to explore a little bit, and I just wanted to give a few examples of some things that I've noticed in regard to just movies. And we know, I've said this probably before, you know, because our world is such an inverted, upside down, you know, twisted world where they're, you know, trying to, you know, keep us suppressed and keep our truths, you know, away from us, so to speak. So the movies actually are telling you the truth. You know, the movies are actually telling you what's going on in the world, whereas the whatchamacallit, you know, the news, if you're watching the news and you think you're watching truth and what's really happening in the world, and you're not. I mean, isn't that crazy? It's like it's upside down. It's upside down and all over the place. It's not alive. Hold on. How can it be? How can it be? What do you mean, the movie's real and the TV's not? The movie's real and the news is not? No. No, but true. That's basically what's really going on, because, you know, they have to trick everybody to believe the way they want to believe. You know, if they show everything in the movies and it seems like everything just makes sense and it's a normal, you know, everyday type of thing, and you don't take it so seriously, or you don't believe it, or, you know, whatever. I mean, so anyway, okay, I see some green back in here, so hopefully you're still with me. I don't know what to say. You know, 4 minutes in, I'm distracted all over the place. Which isn't hard for me to do, being distracted, but having a good time here with you people. You're my people, I'm the people, you're the people, we're all the people. And, you know, again, this channel is about building a community, keeping people together. This is a place of love and growth and just observing life and just talking about all kinds of, you know, crazy different opinions. It doesn't mean what's right or wrong or any of that type of thing. So all I know is things are really heating up. Speaking of movies, I'm really looking forward to what's going to be happening with Trump coming up. You know I spoke about that a little bit previously about, you know, not going down any path too far. But, you know, generally, you know, I do believe that, you know, our world is run by, sickos, obviously just sickos, that keep us, mean to do us harm and keep us suppressed. That's why our world is set up the way it is. That's why, just the way, our water's polluted, the food's polluted, the air's polluted. This is not like by accident, because they decided, we wanted to build cars. We didn't realize it was going to turn into polluting the air or something. They know everything that they're doing from ground zero up until whatever floor they make it to before they fly a building, pretend to fly a plane into a building and take it down. So, anyway, that was a movie too. But anyway, I'm excited about what's going on, with Trump overall, because no matter what side you fall on with all that type of stuff, it's setting a precedent now, that a former president or whatever can be indicted, arrested, or charged with something and blah, blah, blah. So this is going to open the doors, because this is how it has to be, right? For I've been following all this stuff going just to try to make it like, some kind of cohesive thought here since the fake pandemic started back in 2020, and I realized that we were under attack, and I really started looking into things more, and found all the information about just a lot of stuff I never realized before. I mean, between Operation Paperclip, when World War II ended, they just moved the Nazi operation to the United States, and it never really ended. Operation Mockingbird, when they created the media so they can put these media campaigns and have these narratives. I mean, Hollywood's part of that. It's just Operation Project Bluebeam, with the being able to project, whatever they want you to see. Again, not to be like, just to go back real quick. I mentioned about 9/11, saying pretend the plane flying. Like, I personally don't believe there were any planes in that situation. They blew up the buildings purposely, So, but they can make it look like a plane flew into it with Project. Was it Project Bluebeam, Operation Bluebeam, whatever, So anyway, it's all that kind of stuff. It's all been trickery and deceit, and that's what Operation Status Quo. That's what this channel's about. It's not about like getting all upset about it. It's not about like being scared of anything. It's just about listen. You don't have to get mad. Like so many people get mad. Like that's why I don't understand like the word conspiracy and that type of thing. You hear conspiracy, and everybody right away is like, oh, conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. Like it's such a negative connotation on this word. Like, when conspiracy, like the definition basically is two or more people conspiring together to mislead or, do some sort of, mayhem in a sense, whatever you want to say. There's like an actual definition. I mean, this doesn't mean that they always come on and be like, another conspiracy theory. And I'm just like, are we using our freaking heads out there, people? I mean, like, it's not about, and that's what's great about the way, Operation Mockingbird, the mainstream media, I mean, that's the way they do it. They come on, they'll just keep saying it like that. And so it gets in your head, oh, I don't want to be one of those people that thinks there's a conspiracy. Oh, no. My friends won't like me. I know, I'm sorry. It's not a conspiracy. I believe whatever you say. So seriously. So the movies, right? Groovy movies. That's what we're talking about today, because movies, and I'm not saying not to enjoy movies. One of the things that kind of made me think about talking about this was Cable Guy was on over the weekend on IFC. And I like watching movies on IFC because I don't cut anything out. And Cable Guy is one of my favorites, Jim Carrey. Now, is Jim Carrey an adrenochrome drinking child molester? I really don't know. I would like to think he's not, but he could be. I mean, that's the stuff that goes on over there. But anyway, but in the movie, he spoke about towards the end, that scene in the end, like, when he's on the satellite dish and he goes, oh, now this is 1996, this movie was made. And he gives his whole speech saying, oh, today you'll be able to go to this channel and watch this. You can watch the Louvre on one channel while, paying a bill on your phone or whatever. I don't think he said phone, like, because we don't think we had the phones then, right? You're paying a bill on your computer and then, and being able to play video games with your friend in Vietnam at the same time. I mean, he was saying all that that in 96. So this is what I'm trying to say about the movies and how the movies are programming, for the future. They know this already. They know exactly what technologies are going to be and how they're going to roll them out into mainstream populace. Another example is like even, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I always think of that. The end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, they take the Ark and they wheel it in to that warehouse, and it's in a crate, and boom, with all these other, ancient artifacts. And like everybody goes, oh, it's a movie, but really that's the truth, right? That's what they have. Some sort of warehouse somewhere where they store, all the ancient, it's probably under the Vatican, really, right? Where they got 50 something miles of library that it's inaccessible to people of literature and everything. It talks about our existence, where we really came from, how humanity actually, developed. It's like, but what we believe that we came from like an amoeba or whatever, it's a lie, right? So, and again, the movies, they're telling you. So I have a couple things I wanted to mention. First and foremost, talking about how this is all programmed and stuff, is Hannah Montana. I don't know why she sticks out with me. It's just like a crawl, she like sticks in me. Like, she as a young girl, she had that show, the Hannah Montana, and all the young kids liked her. She came across with this wholesome image of everything that she was doing and all that type of thing, right? And then, she grows up, right? The puberty happens. She becomes a young lady, and now it's Miley Cyrus. And Miley Cyrus is like some kooky, twerking, whatever you want to call it, hussy, basically. What do they call it? Pansexual? I don't know, something where polysexual, polynormous, I don't know, something where you don't, it doesn't matter, man, woman, or a frog, or whatever you want. You sleep with anything, you're a wall, maybe you fall in love with your wall and you rub yourself up against it, polyamorous, I think that's the word, right? Or something like that. But what I mean is like, so take if you had a daughter who was like, say 10 or something, during those years when Hannah Montana was on, and she's a young girl and she looks up to her and she's watching that. And then all of a sudden, they do this again. It's on purpose, right? It's all done, Hannah Montana, I'm sure, is an MK Ultra, CIA experiment, so they have the Operation Hannah Montana, and they roll that out, and all the girls and the young kids are into her, and then boom, flip the switch, and now we turn on Operation Miley Cyrus, and we turn her in. Now she comes out like a maniac, doing everything that she does. And what message does that send to the kids? See, this is how they program people in an acceptable way. Oh, I always loved Hannah Montana. If you were a little girl, I loved Hannah Montana. Now she's expressing herself as a woman. We have rights to express ourselves, which everybody has rights to. I mean, I agree. Everybody should express themselves and be who they are. But they take that, of course, you should express yourself type thing, and the want to express yourself, and they take it and they invert it and twist it and say, well, of course we want these kids to express themselves. Of course they are going to want to rebel and express themselves. So let's guide them to express themselves, to totally demean themselves and demoralize themselves and act like, total freaks. So, but I mean, that's just all part of the operation of the things that they're doing. Same thing, I go back even with, since I was born in the 70s, and I watched a lot of the 80s movies, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, they did the documentary or whatever back when with the two Coreys, or the Corey story, whatever the frig it was called, and it just really showed the behind the scenes. I mean, how much the Corey Haim, was getting like, basically raped up and down the block every which way, by these movie producer guys and stuff. And, look what happened to him. He wound up with a bad drug problem, died. Corey Feldman talked openly about it. But these are, to me, like, something like that happens. That's why I almost think, what the hell's the guy's name? Geez, I can't believe he's slipping my name. What's the guy's name? I got to look it up on my, the main guy that started the whole Me Too movement thing. You know who I'm talking about, that ugly, oh my gosh, what an ugly guy. Can you imagine if you were one of those girls and had to be forced to have sex with him? What the frig was his name? I got to Google it real quick. Unless somebody's out there. If anybody's out there and you can drop it in the chat, let me Google Me Too guy. Me Too guy. Who is the Me Too guy? What the frig's his name? In Hollywood. And what happened to like Corey's, imagine being Corey Haim. Like I watched I like those movies back then, and And I watch him now. I think like this poor kid like was in the middle of doing this movie, and then has to go, in between scenes, he has to go, have sex with these movie producers and stuff, right? So groovy movies, that's what they do. Is they use the movies to program us, to lie to us, and basically create the world that they want to create. Let's see if I go back over here to just a few notes, because I see my stream health is still not the healthiest today, so I'm going to just kind of get through this best I can. I want to be here with you people today, but some of the movies that I talk about, like for example, I was going to talk about the Corys, like the Lost Boys. I mean, think about that movie and how much truth is in that when you go back and look about like this satanic cabal. And I hate to sound so over dramatic when I say all that stuff, like, oh, these Satan worshipers are out to get you, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, I don't mean it so heavy that way, like, but I mean, it's just got to be open to these things, because there are evil forces out in play. I mean, really, our whole existence in this world is basically good and evil, right? It's man. It's in this body, rather, as we're humans, but it's really a struggle towards, how much do we live in love and how much do we live in fear? And it's always a spiritual battle of good versus evil. And there are people that know like I said about Raiders of the Lost Ark, they have all those items. They know about our real truth. They have them stored, locked away. They're not going to tell you about your real truth and give you your, ability to express yourself. They want to keep you pigeonholed, basically, because it suits them. And when you see the Lost Boys and the whole thing with the, I don't want to go down this road so much because it sounds so like over the top, but, with the adrenochrome and the drinking of the blood and the sacrificing of the children and, all these things that go on. I mean, it pretty much, they're pretty much telling you all that if you go back and watch Lost Boys. I mean, not to mention, like, the one character's name was Michael, the other guy was David, and the girl was Star. So you got like Star David, you got Archangel Michael. I mean, it's pretty intense, when you go back and look at stuff that way. Like The Firm is another good example. Tom Cruise gets this great job with this law firm, and he's got all the perks and the this and the that. And what do? They trick him, right? They trick them to sleep with that woman when they're in Cancun, the Cayman Islands, right? They trick them they didn't trick him, I guess, because he did it. But I mean, they set him up in a situation for him to have sex with that woman so that they can have something on him to blackmail him if he ever turned against them. And that's what they do. That's like what Hollywood does. That's what politics do. They put these people like in compromised situations, and then they got something on them. And now when, if you want to come out as a senator or anybody else and say, oh, I want to fight against this bill, or this isn't right, they go, oh, by the way, Senator, we got this video of you here with the, with the two 12-year-olds. So, do you sure you want to, vote against this bill? And that's basically how they do it. And you see what Tom Cruise had to go through to get out from under the firm, so, I know you say it's a movie, but really, I mean, it's true. I mean, it's a movie, yeah, but they're telling you, like, basically this is how things operate, right? Taken, the movie Taken with Liam Neeson. That's another good one. Think about that. I mean, the way the girls were tricked into being, and Hostel's another one that made me think of that. Like Hostel. Remember in Hostel when the guys wound up getting drugged by the girls, and then the next thing you know, they're taken to this like torture chamber, basically type thing. And the same thing with Taken. The girls are drugged, and they were taken basically, then drugged, I guess. But how that guy set them up. He knew where they lived, knew they were alone, and blah, blah, blah. And then they were taken, and then they're taken on some ship to be sold. I mean, this stuff is really going on. I mean, you think it's like, oh, it's a movie, and this wasn't really, but this is the stuff that's really going on, and they're telling you in plain sight of, this is how the world, operates. Die Hard is a good one for me too, as an example, because it's the first Die Hard I'm speaking of. Because if you ever look at the movie poster for the first Die Hard, they got, the tall building with the explosion like at the top, and it really looks like, 9/11, so they're basically telling you from that point on, that what's happening, so I just think it's pretty interesting. Honestly, I don't remember if I talked about Cable Guy already or not, because I think I did in the beginning, right? This is like my third take trying to get this one through, and I don't remember if I talked about the Cable Guy. That crazy. I'm 20 minutes in. I don't know what the hell I even said. All right, let's just do a couple more movies. Oh, Justice League. I wanted to mention Justice League because in the movie Justice League, in the very beginning, they're showing like a desolate, dark kind of scene, like in the streets, like it's a bad time going on or whatever. And there's a newspaper on the newspaper stand, and it says the headline is "Superman is dead." I guess Superman died in the last movie, and then Justice League came out. So it's Superman dead. It says on the newspaper, but in the upper corner of the newspaper, if you look at it, in the upper left-hand corner of the newspaper, it says something to the effect of "Coronavirus takes over nation," or "Coronavirus explodes," or whatever. Something about coronavirus being a problem. And this was in 2017, right? 2017, they were talking about coronavirus. So I don't know, just pretty. Again, programming, they're telling you, they know already. Just to say, like, all these things, like, I know I'm talking about the movies. I say groovy movies because, the movies are telling you the truth. The mainstream news, is really more the show than the movies. Just like everything, when World War II was over, it never really ended. It just kind of shifted. Operation Paperclip, where they moved the Nazis, to the United States and started, a whole new way. Anyway. And then, they had the whatchamacallit, Operation Mockingbird, which I'm talking about now, basically between the media and the news and the Hollywood. So all these entities are working together to basically keep you down. Now, They Live is another movie that we know shows truth. Roddy Piper. People think it's I know it seems like a cheesy B movie or whatever, but he puts on the sunglasses and everything he's looking at, he sees the subliminal messages. He can see the aliens that are walking around amongst us and everything else. So the movies are telling you the truth. I mean, the movies are telling you the truth. That movie, like when he's looking at the magazine and it just says reproduce and consume, or it looks at just a billboard. It looks like something and it says obey, and those are the messages they're sending you subliminally that you don't even realize. I'm not saying that, if you put on a pair of sunglasses, you see the word obey behind, a billboard, but you might. I mean, either way, the way everything's designed in commercials and television is designed specifically to program your mind. So, I mean, that's what's going on. And the other movie I was really thinking of too was, of course, The Matrix. I don't even have to get into The Matrix, right? I mean, The Matrix sums it all up. It is. We're living in a Matrix. You can't ask for any more truth than what they show you in The Matrix. But another movie that I liked was also The Island. Do you remember the movie The Island? I forget. McGregor, Evan McGregor, is that his name? Right? Was in that movie. The guy who played Obi-Wan in the newer Star Wars movies. Unfortunately for him, because those movies were horrible, but he did a good job. I liked him. He was good as Obi-Wan too. But anyway, in that movie, The Island, they believe that they're being, they're in a safe place because the environment outside is deadly, with the atmosphere. But every once in a while, somebody gets lucky and they get to go to the island and be in this tropical paradise. But what they don't know is that the people that are in this facility, are actually clones of real people out in the real world. And they're led to believe that they can't leave this complex, because it's dangerous outside, but the truth is they're just there waiting to be harvested if their owner needs, parts, right? And I mean, look at Joe Biden, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying? He's so far, the real one's so gone, they actually have to use the clones. He's like the sixth clone. Oh my God. Hey-o. So anyway, I just wanted to come on today and do, I think I was a little off a little bit in certain regards, just because I had to fight with the internet so much. But it's important to me here on Operation Status Quo to come to you people as often as possible and to give messages of love and hope. And is this a message of love and hope to let you know that everything in your life is a lie? Movies are a lie. But watch movies seriously. When you watch a movie, enjoy the movie, but watch it with a little more, of a critical eye, and just kind of read between the lines and think about what they're really telling you and what's really going on when you watch these movies. So I don't know. I just think it's pretty interesting. And I see it more and more, every time I put on a movie, I see so much more depth into, and I'm not saying it's so not every actor knows that this is they're trying to spread evil message, or I mean, like they do the move, but there's a program to it, and the people that there's the actors that are doing the parts, and then there's the higher ups that are doing the stuff that they're doing. So I don't know. And just in case I didn't talk about Cable Guy, Cable Guy, was great, and really gave messages. Like I say, that movie was from 1996, and they were talking about how the information highway was coming together to one, and talking about how people were, substituting, real parental guidance, for, just by sitting kids in front of a TV and now in front of a PlayStation or whatever the frig, Xbox or whatever the kids are using today, So, and that's what he said at the end there, Jim Carrey, before he didn't die, but before he jumped off the thing, and he's like, somebody's gotta kill the babysitter, and he's like, it's true, the TV, we gotta shut off the TV. And your phone, I mean, I have my phone, I use my phone, Hey-o. But I don't take my phone with me everywhere I go. I go out for a walk, I don't take my phone. I go over to the pool to go for a dip, I leave the phone home. Like, I see people, I go to the pool, people are sitting around the pool with their phone. They're just like sitting around, nobody's even drinking. Just talk, just enjoy the sunshine, look at the trees. There's so many birds, wildlife. Why do you gotta have your face stuck in your phone like all the time? So anyway, that's it. Remember, the movies, our world is inverted, okay? The people that mean to do us harm do not want you to know truth, and they take the messages that are true, the good messages, and they twist them and invert them, into all this nonsense that they do. And the movies are really showing you a lot of truth. So when you watch the movies, look a little deeper, and don't think, like I was trying to say before, I think when I was one of the first ones that I was doing on this, but, when I started coming out talking about some of this stuff, and I don't mean it so, like I said, I know it's how it sounds, talking about, the Satan worshiping elite and they're drinking the kids' blood and all this kind of stuff. It sounds like wackadoo talk. I get it. But, there's a level of this crap going on. And I'm not saying we have to go over the top, but being panicked or pounding fists on the table, but everything's in God's hands. Everything works out the way it should. I'm not, I can't make judgments on why or what in our world, but being here in this physical existence, no matter what, it's always a battle of love and fear. It's a good and evil, and everything just plays out in this, physical paradigm. It's just a playground. It depends on what energies you vibrate with as to where you wind up and what you're in tune with. So, set your intentions, for a positive place, and you don't have to go down those negative roads. Like, I friends that would tease me when I would try to tell them about this stuff, and they go, "Ooh, the gargoyles, are the gargoyles going to come get me?" They're making fun of me because I'm talking about this stuff, talking about Walmart and how Walmart ran all these businesses, out of their towns, because they're so big in human trafficking. They just create one super center in some small town. It's a lot easier to, kidnap kids and all the stuff they do, keep an eye on people and blah, blah, blah. That's why their prices are so low in a sense. I really don't believe that Walmart cares about how much money they make out of their stores. They're making their money off of trafficking people, and children. So that's a whole nother thing, and again, I don't ever want to make it too heavy because this is Operation Status Quo. We observe the status quo. We learn to flow with the quo, but you got to be aware, people. You just got to be aware that there's more going on than what you think is going on. And you can't just scoff at people and say everything's a conspiracy and boo, boo, boo. You see what's going on in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you think it's good that everything's polluted and dirty and, kids are getting dumber and dumber, education is horrible. I mean, like, if you really want to, that's just the way it is. I mean, if you really want to be that way, then, I mean, that's on you, right? But I mean, the information's out there. So start being a little more critical thinking. That's all. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so, uppity. I'm not trying to chastise, if you're not in that space and you think I'm a wackadoo, it's fine, but I'm just trying to say, and remember the words I'm saying, because as this stuff real, especially now, what's going to be starting to come out, especially with everything that's going to be going on with Trump, and I just think it's going to be kind of like a waterfall of more things and truth coming out, and you got to be prepared. Otherwise, you're going to go cuckoo, 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 so, because really it's a beautiful thing. Life is beautiful. The world's beautiful. There's really nothing to be scared of. Everything's a learning lesson. So if you're somehow involved in, your life seems negative or whatever, it's really, believe it or not, as like lack of compassion it may sound, it's your choice. I don't want to say fault. It's your choice. It's your choice. You choose the vibrations in which you resonate with. So, just be aware that these people that are in charge, generations of quadrillionaires that are in charge, they know all this. All right. They know all this. And that's why they're keeping you programmed to think in your little way, because they, otherwise they don't have control over you. All right. So Groovy Movies, here today on Operation Status Quo. Oh, I had to go with the flow of the quote today. What a pain in the butt. All right, Operation Status Quo. I'm Pete Palma. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Send this out to all your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. Don't forget, you're welcome here anytime. Drop your comments, like and subscribe. I said all that, but drop your comments. Send me a message. You can direct message me, whatever. If you want to be part of the show, you come on. You could talk about what you want to talk about, what ideas you would like for me to express and talk about. We can do it all. We can do it all right here on Operation Status Quo. All right, I want to thank you guys for being with me today. Let me go back over here before I do my little goodbye blue sky. Anyway, we got so much more to do. We got so much more life to live. Operation Status Quo is just getting started. But for now, that's it for today. So God bless each and every one of you individually as well as a group. Have a great day. Operation Status Quo disengaged.
Boulevard of 10 short blocks